Well, hello everyone. My name is CIYADH, and I'm so incredibly grateful to have you here today and to be able to share with you today. I want to, of course, say thank you so much to Larry and to Classical Gala West for hosting this amazing online event. It's so cool that we get to be here and to share and learn from each other today. So I'm just excited for that. I am going to be presenting a presentation called Presenting and Representing Diverse Communities. And in this presentation, I just wanted to give and share some thoughts and some insights really about the importance of organizational diversity and inclusivity in the arts, and especially in the guitar community. So just a little bit about me. My name, again, is CIYADH, and I run an organization called the Margins Guitar Collective. I work at Austin Classical Guitar in Austin, Texas, and I am a doctorate student at the University of Georgia in guitar. And I'm really just a person who is committed to making sure that all artists, and especially artists of color, are empowered and represented on our stages and in our communities. We all experience challenges in our lives, and that's okay. And my experience with music from the earlier part of my life was like many of us. I started playing music at a very young age, and from that age, there were moments in time where I could see myself reflected fully. I could go to a concert of someone who looked like me, and it made me believe that I too could do that one day. But as I've continued to pursue music, and especially classical music, it has become more and more difficult to see myself reflected on a concert stage or in a program booklet. And I would say that while I can't speak for everyone, I believe that this experience is not all that uncommon. So for others and myself, I have also been thinking about what might have been different had I been able to see myself reflected in the classical guitar community earlier on in my pursuit of this career. And while I can't change that, I believe that it's important to remember that our experiences are not that of others. And if we worked just a little bit harder to make sure that everyone could be and should be represented in our presentations of artists, then it could be better for everyone. I just want you to imagine what it might have been like for you to never see yourself reflected on the stage. Would you have decided to continue to pursue your current career? And sure, the answer could be yes, but we want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to encourage and to welcome people into our communities, because we want our communities to exist long after we're in them. We live in a world that is incredibly diverse. People have varied thoughts and beliefs and opinions, and their lived experiences are also different. And it's important to be aware and understand people. And I think that ultimately helps to make the world a more accepting and a more inviting place for all of us to live. We all benefit from diversity. We all benefit from creating open and accepting and inviting spaces in our communities. Being diverse means that people of different races, ethnicities, cultures, genders, and other identities are in that same space, that they are allowed to be there, that people can see themselves there in one way or another. Equity should ultimately lead to justice, but equity is about continuing to make sure that everyone in our community is given the things that they need to survive and to ultimately thrive. Inclusion is making sure that all of those people that we've included in our spaces, that we honor their lived experiences and that we listen to them and that we value their thoughts and abilities the same as everyone else. In the arts especially, I think we have challenges, but I think we have many great strengths as well. In the arts, one of our strengths is that we exist to tell stories, to share stories and experiences with other people. And we owe it to ourselves and to each other to continue to make sure that that is our reality. We have to continue to make sure that our communities are reflected in our presentations and on our stages, meaning that guitarists and all of the other artists that we represent are of differing racial, ethnic, gender identities, and have varied cultural backgrounds and lived experiences. In addition to that, we also have to encourage those musicians to include music on their programs by composers whose lived experiences might vary from their own, or encourage them to include those composers whose identities might align with those more of our communities and our audience members, which is who we're ultimately there to serve. And in our leadership and our decisions, we have to make sure that our community looks like we do in some way. And sometimes that might mean they don't look exactly like us, but that again is not a bad thing. If we want the arts to continue, and I believe that we all do because you're joining me here today, it is going to be necessary for us to begin making space for everyone. And like I say, challenge ends and change ends, but also begins with us. Studies do show that musicians and composers of color are disproportionately underrepresented in our presenting organizations. And it's not because those guitarists, those musicians, those composers don't exist. Organizations have to focus on creating innovative and impactful programming that reaches a variety of people in our communities, the communities that we serve and the communities that we hope to serve in the future. But of course, you're right, change is difficult. And as presenters and as administrators, we have to continue to understand our value and our purpose in our communities, which is to provide opportunities for cultural exchange and to provide experiences that are deeply personal and intimate. I, of course, am going to imbue you to reconsider how you might define what it is that your community wants and needs. Because we might often think that our community wants and needs one particular thing when it's really that's not what our community needs right now. And the only way to find out what it is that your community might need or might want is to simply ask. If you ask, your community will tell you. So sure, finding and seeking out musicians that you don't already know or have previous connections with will take a little bit more work. It will require all of us to stretch ourselves and to learn and to grow. But growth is necessary and it is important. And I guarantee you that we're all better for it. Again, our greatest challenge and ultimately our greatest strength lies in our ability to create connection and to create comfort and to create moments of understanding with each other in spite of or because of our differences. So I'm going to encourage you again to seek and find and invite artists of all colors to be a part of your communities. And by that, I mean inviting them to present for your organizations or asking other musicians that you might already know to include more composers with diverse identities on their programs. And when we do this, we have to make sure that we are giving everyone their worth, that we are treating everyone with the same respect, no matter what. Like I said earlier, it is up to us to create change and to make sure that everyone in our community is represented on our stages. So I look forward to chatting and discussing these things with you right now. Thank you so much.